You don't need an expensive smoker to make amazing pulled pork. All you need is a Weber Kettle and the snake method. Welcome back to Backyard Pit Lab. I'm Jason, and today I'll show you how to make the best pulled pork you've ever cooked using nothing more than a Weber Kettle. Let's jump right into it. I like to set up my snake the night before so I can get the smoker going as soon as I wake up. That way, the pork butt has all day to cook low and slow and is ready just in time for dinner. Use briquettes for this cook. They provide a more consistent burn and make temperature control much easier. I'm building a 2x2 snake with a couple of wood chunks at the beginning so the pork gets a clean head of smoke right from the start. I'm using this 8-pound pork butt that I picked up at Kroger for about $2 a pound. I like to dry brine it the night before, so we'll start by patting it dry and applying the rub. Today, I'm using Honey Hog from Meat Church, but you can use any barbecue rub that you like. Be generous with the seasoning and don't forget to cover all the sides. I like to save the fat cap for last since that's going to be our presentation side. Once that's coated, I'll finish it off with a layer of coarse black pepper to help build an even better bark during the cook. Once it's seasoned, let it rest uncovered on a wire rack in the refrigerator overnight. It's time to start the cook. I like to use tumbleweeds to light the beginning of the snake because they're quick, simple, and don't leave behind any chemical smell or taste. While that's getting started, I'll place a water pan in the center of the kettle directly underneath where the pork butt will sit. The water helps stabilize the cooking temperature and catches the drippings, making cleanup a whole lot easier. I've inserted 2 temperature probes, one near the beginning of the snake and one near the end, to monitor how temperature changes throughout the cook. This lets me see how evenly the snake is burning and whether I need to make any adjustments along the way. Alright, it's been about 33 minutes. Ambient temperature on this side is about 205, and then on this side is about 147. I'm going to go ahead and close one of the vents. Just going to check on it. Working really well. Before it even touches the wood, I'm going to go ahead and close the vents to about halfway on the bottom, and let's keep the top open because I want some of that dirty smoke to come out. Alright, it has now been 53 minutes. Ambient temperature is at 262 on the far or the closest to the heat, and now 180 on this side. I think we need to close the top vent as well. Yeah, it's going pretty fast. Let's do half on the top and then quarter on the bottom. It has been an hour and 35 minutes. Ambient temperature on that side is 244. Ambient temperature on this side is 180 degrees. We're gonna go ahead and open up the vents just a little bit on the top here. One thing I've learned is just how sensitive these vents are. Even a tiny adjustments can make a big difference in temperature, so I like to make small changes and let the kettle settle before touching the vents again. 3 hours in, we're at 140 degrees internally, 276 ambient temperature here, and 248 here. We'll go see what the pork looks like. It's looking pretty good. That side's not burnt at all. Great. The snake is holding up. Just gonna rotate the vents this way, so then it starts cooking over here. I think I'm gonna close off the vent a little bit. About halfway open. Since I opened it at the 3-hour mark, it has climbed up pretty significantly to 296 on that side and 270 on this side, so it's already barely open on the bottom. We're gonna just go ahead and close off the top too. There we go. Very small opening on the top, very small opening on the bottom. This is hopefully gonna choke out the flame here. We're almost 4 hours in. Internal temperature of the pork is 162 degrees. Ambient temperature is 300 degrees. Trying to push through the stall. I wanna see what it looks like. We'll just open up the grill real quick. Getting a nice color. None of it's burnt. It's staying pretty moist. The snake is doing really good. Gonna rotate the lid. The snake is about this far now. It went all the way down over here, so I like to keep it opposite of it. This is 4 hours in. If you're enjoying this detailed breakdown of Weber Kettle temperature and vent management, hit the like button. That lets me know you'd like to see more videos like this in the future. We are 4 hours and 25 minutes in. Internal temperature on this side is 168. Internal temperature on this side is 174. Ambient temperature is 241. We're gonna actually open up the vents because we're going through the stall here. Open up about halfway on the top here and see if that solves the temperature issue. We'll see what the snake looks like. It's still right here, which is good. The color looks great. I'm happy with that. So I think I want the vents over here. We'll let it keep rocking. We're 5 hours and 12 minutes into the cook. Earlier in the cook, the side of the pork butt closest to the beginning of the snake was running hotter. But now, the temperatures have completely flipped. As the snake burns its way around the kettle, the burning charcoal has moved closer to the far side of the pork butt, making that side the hotter one. That creates a potential problem. If I leave it alone, one side of the pork butt could cook faster and dry out before the other. So I flip the pork butt, putting the cooler side closest to the burning charcoal. That helps even out the cook as the snake continues. At this point, we've pushed through the stall and the pork butt has reached an internal temperature of 185 degrees. But as the snake neared the end of its burn, the kettle temperature started falling. I couldn't afford to let it keep dropping. I wanted this pork butt ready for dinner, and I still planned to give it at least an hour to rest in the cooler. So I opened the vents to feed the fire more oxygen, raise the cooking temperature, and push the cook across the finish line. Both the top and bottom vents are about a quarter of the way open. I want to bring the temperature back up, but I don't want to make a drastic adjustment, so I only opened the top vent to about halfway open, keeping the bottom vent where it was. Small changes like this are usually all it takes to nudge the temperature back up without overshooting it. The temperature responded almost immediately, climbing about 40 degrees in just 15 minutes. But it slowly started falling again as the snake burned out. At that point, I opened both the top and bottom vents all the way to finish the cook. Since the pork butt was already in the high 180s, it needed a higher cooking temperature to keep making progress. I also wasn't too concerned about drying it out because it was so close to being done, even though I hadn't wrapped it or spritzed it during the cook. Now that we're approaching 195 degrees, I'm no longer cooking to a specific temperature. I'm cooking for tenderness. I'll start probing a few different spots, and when the thermometer slides in like warm butter with almost no resistance, that's when I know it's done. Oh yeah, I mean, this is like butter. Yeah, that's perfect. Don't want it to be too mushy. Let's see what it's reading here. 193. It's gonna probably continue cooking a little bit too anyways whenever we put it in the foil. One hack I found of being perpetually late in finishing my cook is trying to be done an hour earlier and just resting the meat in a cooler wrapped in foil. This also helps redistribute the juices of a big piece of meat like pork butt or brisket. While it's resting in the cooler, I like to stick the temperature probes back into the pork butt just to make sure it stays safely above the food safety danger zone. Then, when it's time to eat, I pull it out, shred it, and get it ready to serve. Alright, here we go. Before we dig in, let's take a moment to appreciate how beautiful this pork butt turned out. That bark looks incredible. Bone slides right out and it's clean, which is always a great sign that it's cooked to perfection. Now it's time to shred it up and see if it tastes as good as it looks. I was honestly surprised that it took all of the snake to get it cooked all the way. It was a 9-hour cook on the Weber Kettle. The snake method worked perfectly. All right, here's the taste test. Look at that. So good. Thanks for watching and subscribe to see more backyard cooks like this.